You should drink at least 2 liters of water. You have 1.5 liters a day, released with air, with photos from the front and back. 1.5 liters, more in summer. But you have to balance the raspberry buranin, so give 1.5 liters. It is better to add more to wash out the dirt that has accumulated there with this water, and also put some water, so that the cell bathes in this water. This is understandable. Now, I have already given everyone so much that the doctors say, drink at least 2 liters. But after all, no one wants to say when to drink. And you need to drink before eating for 10 to 15 minutes. If you have eaten porridge, in an hour. And if the meat was eaten, in 2 hours at least. You cannot drink during and after meals. Why is this so? Probably everyone knows what a conveyor system is. Shop, well, here's the car. In the beginning, the body appears there, then it starts all this. And in the end, the wheels are already attached there. Workshop, starting from casting and ending with the machine itself. The same is the body. The first shop is a crushing plant. You have to chew the food so that it drools, becomes the same temperature as the body. You lived, slobbered. At this time, the computer instructs the stomach to allocate such a concentration of gastric juice of hydrochloric acid, which is enough to digest the food you have eaten. She's already started to get sucked in here. Well, it's a starchy, carbohydrate-rich food. Have you lived? Swallowed, not swallowed. It should flow from you. No need to swallow. She should drink like water. And here is the acid that has been released there. It begins to corrode this food even more finely. A workshop for processing food to the molecular level. It takes an hour and a half for porridge. For meat, I repeat longer. Why meat can't be eaten, I'm going to tell you now. And then the acidic medium enters, it should be completely consumed, about this before digestion. And then, the liver and pancreas secrete alkali. If there's about 4.5, 5 acid, and there's alkali 8-10. And this alkali should completely remove the acid. She has to disappear. There must be an alkaline reaction. But there begins the process of processing already. Chirin is bile. And the pancreas secretes enzymes for processing proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. And the whole load mainly falls on the pancreas. And after that, the food slowly enters the intestines, and there is still an alkaline environment there. And when it comes to the colon, there are 3 to 4 hours in the small intestine, but in the large intestine, it already lasts there for 10 to 12 or more hours if there is no constipation. That's where a slightly acidic environment appears. This is normal. This pipeline should work like this for all of you. But you drank the water. Official medicine tells you, drink tea, coffee, compote after eating. Last year, I was at our non-grandmother botanical garden. There is an institute of gerontology. That is, it treats the elderly. This is squalor. There I saw them eating. Well, hitboom, no, it's warm. Girlfriends say, first, second, third. And they give medicines. That's it. This check will be a little easier. Well, I got away from household chores. Here he was fed, drugged more or less normally. That's it. But the person as was sick, and remained. Tomorrow it will be even worse for him. So, the whole point is that you should know, you do not disrupt the process of food processing technology. This conveyor is given to you by some higher God, not by some mind, working clearly in sequence, without violating its functions. You allow yourself the luxury at the official level. Drink any liquids. Well, they say it's like with wine. Here, where the tablecloth is Abraham himself, I write, red wine. Please, there's quercetin in there. It's an anti-cancer thing. It's red wine. Some of you take white grapes. Don't take red, take black. There's just this substance that the body needs. Don't spit out any more bones, chew them. Oh, there's this thing. So, if you violate this regime, there will be no benefit. Now there are dozens of options for different diets. Now, recently, the LIPI system. Have you heard this one? The LIPI diet. This is in LIPI. This is our man who lives there, a doctor, graduated from the institute in Russia. And he actually developed this system there. When he came out on, as it is called, retired, yes, I'm retired, you have his civilian. He decided he had illnesses there. And this doctor, he came up with this diet. This is a Kazan, a lion. He allows everyone to eat and drink even. But little by little, the system is very rigid. And meat as well. Well, white confectionery, they say, exclude. Do you want a sandwich, please? Well, it seems that you came to visit, and everything is there. And what will you do, like a white crow? Well, eat up. And eat in the evening. But in 3 months, a person loses weight from 15 to 20 to 30 kilograms. You can agree with that, but I have my own point of view on this. But he does. This is world recognition. By the way, I don't remember which room right now. It's top secret. They also wrote 2 or 3 months ago. If someone buys newspapers, or where to go to these libraries that you find, flip through. It's written about it in detail there. I've known about this for a long time. He has been working there for 15 or 20 years. The artist, the minister writes there, that the community is from all over the country, including now Russia. His method is one there in Kazan, which is also a person from Latvia, he lives in Kazan. Here is a follower, and there he uses this technique too. Although I was in Kazan, but, unfortunately, I was not there. If I had known then, last year we were in November. This is Shimradani, where the Hope Center works. He's a peculiar one. Not everything that I do in Balashika, but it's almost impossible to get there, and today we left, for example. We came from Israel with Australia. This is where medicine is normal. So we came to Shimorden, in order to become practically healthy in 3 weeks. Also without enemas, without anything. But there's only paint. And a certain fasting. And he called it velvet, but I called it physiological starvation. That is, you lose 8 to 10 kilograms in 3 weeks, but you lose not those scales, but dirt. It is necessary to wash the dirt out of you, and slowly, gradually, you lose weight. Even 15 kilograms were cases with us, almost kilograms every day. Well, movement, physical education. It goes without saying. So, the whole point is that these various systems, they work. Just like, for example, here is the breath. After all, why? I've been doing breathing for 47th year, still a student. What do I have with this hydrogen peroxide? This is the 47th year, and then my dissertation was devoted to the gas system of the atmosphere of spaceships. How to breathe there in space. And by the way, here's the Bulgarian and Rukavishnikov, they were supposed to die there. So I developed a methodology. Without any instruments, without anything, and the astronauts remained alive. So, the whole point is that every system, whether it's Strelnikov, whether it's some other ones, they all work. With Strov this one now, Frollovsky, who? What is it called? This device, which is a healthy lifestyle, is recommended there all the time. All this is good, but the whole point is that it is not necessary. We have it all in our body. And the book is called The Reserve Capability of the Body. Breathing. The point of consciousness. With the help of breathing, you can treat a person, any disease. Awareness by changing consciousness, and we have so-called apoptoses. In other words, we have cells that process dead cells. We have cells dying up to 1.5 kilograms every day. Here are the blood cells that live with us, red blood cells, for 4 months. And there are microbes in the intestine that live from 10 to 20 minutes. Can you imagine, 10-15 minutes, 20 worked, died. And in its place is a new one. Up to certain limits. And with age, this system begins to fade. And this apoptosis for processing cells that need to be thrown away, it slows down and begins slagging cells with toxic products of these cells, which are already corpses that remembered they need to be cleaned. And in old age, they drink little water. What is Russia low growth? There's no water. What is Parkinson's? But there is no water. What is Alzheimer's? There is no water. Brains can't work without water. This dummy, it weighs 1.5 to 2 kilograms. With a total weight of 50 kilograms, these 1.5 to 2 kilograms take 25% of water. And all the water goes because you need brains. Electrolyte. This is the scariest, most difficult job. It should be worked out all the time, washed, cleaned. And you don't have that. And the cells are dying. And they are already systems of this dose, are not disposed of. You're slacking off. Even against this background, old people, and I don't want to drink. No one can cure him. If you want to eat, you don't have to eat. It is necessary to drink water. What kind of water? Here there are such devices, agro is called. They provide this 7.4 ps of water, 7.6, what we need. And the water that you drink in the water supply is 6.5, 6.4. That's an awful lot of acidification. This is where you will meet Bolatev. I know her well. Even in one of the books of photography. I convinced him. He says, acidify the body. It is not necessary to acidify the body. In principle, these snotopure, sour foods that are prepared for the winter, be it apples, cabbage, cucumbers, tomatoes, all this is good. But in nature, everything is so arranged that 3/4 is alkali, 1/4 is acid. We can't live without this acid. And when Bolatev says to his students, acidify, acidify, you add this acid to 3/4 of the alkali, and in these biochemical reactions, they form water there, form the same hydrogen peroxide, and alkalize the body. Turns these 7.2, 7.4 into a normal acid-base equilibrium. Therefore, it seems that you are acidifying. Yes, you do not acidify. Well, read in the book. I wrote about it and convinced Molotov here. But a smart man did. Well, God grant everyone to leave so much on earth. But he's not a doctor. I explained to him, well, I got hung up, probably. Well, he writes books, you can't change them so quickly there. But I don't know, here a new one will meet here, and again, probably, will say that acidification. You have to understand, scientists took an acidic environment. Here's water, 6.5 or 6. And he threw cutlets, fungi, various mora, which we have pathogenic microflora there, into the acidic environment. And since they began to develop by leaps and bounds, it's a normal environment for them. But when all this was transferred to lie, everyone did not die. Well, I said it badly, they were dying. No. So, you have to make sure that you have a PASH of 7274. Why do you need living water? Why, PASH, do you need to raise? And the book is water. This is our life. And it says there, how to make sure that you have alkaline water all the time, at least NH7. But most importantly, against the background of a clean body. In the morning, we drank 1 or 2 glasses of water on an empty stomach. After 5 to 10 to 20 minutes, it immediately gurgles and does not linger in the stomach. And by the way, water only works on an empty stomach. It gets into this alkali, where the liver, the pancreas, and it becomes an electrolyte there. And only water begins to be consumed from there. Brains, livers, lungs, what else, where? Into the intestines, anywhere. And in the blood the same thing. The water is not the one in the intestines that muddied all this food and wanted to say, there is not a putrefactive process there, but which got there in its pure form, in the area of the 2 colon, liver, pancreas. This water only works, there is no other water. All the rest of the water poisons you, makes you sick. Even I read these very Malashev, drink coffee. Yes, you can't drink coffee. It is a diuretic. You drank 200 grams of coffee, but not 200 grams, but 7 liters, and allocated 240 water. You always don't have enough water. Your body is dehydrated. And tea, which is like chiffer. Well, okay, the green is a little bit there somewhere. Okay, more herbal, and everything else is about what you do. But read books. When taking water with salt and peroxide, the pulse quickened. Why? Of course. The thing is that when you drink water, you always don't have enough water, your blood begins to thicken. These ones, he drinks 1 liter, but he needs 1.5, and the blood becomes condensed. It is very difficult for the heart to push this condensed blood. And why do atomic roses begin? Why does arrhythmia begin? And we need water that dilutes this blood. And imagine, a river. There's muddy water somewhere on the plain, it's barely crawling. And in the mountains from Remnon, what kind of water is alive? She's squirting there. You breathe, and literally want to drink this water. How does she run? It runs normally. There is almost no resistance. That's why the pulse will increase at the same time. But it's up to normalization. And then, gradually everything settles down. If you switch to these 2 liters of water to drink, it will be 60-70.